No. Okay.
बाकी कोई दिक्कत नहीं सर, आप रिकॉर्डिंग चालू कर दो.
Okay. Thanks. Okay, so let's kickstart. Before I start, as you all know, this is a one-way traffic. One-way traffic basically means that you are basically going to hear my voice, so I'll try and be slow. You may type in your queries in the chat box. One thing, I may not be able to take everything, but what I'll do is I'll try and pick the important ones. Third is post the session. You can mail me, speak to me anytime. I'll leave the number at the end. And if some of you are not able to see the slide, some of you can see the slide. I don't know what the issue, but I can see the slide. Okay, I think you guys can see it. Okay. Don't get scared with the number of slides. There are many duplicate slides just for animation effect. So in case you need this presentation at the end, you may put in a request through mail. So the objective is very simple. I would like to give you certain tools so as to ensure that your accuracy in critical reasoning is almost 100%. So there are about 12 questions. I hope that after this session you are able to get about 11 correct. Why is this session important? If you look at the past 3 years, around 12 marks have come from CR, and the cutoff of verbal was around 12 marks. So if you get all the CR questions correct, chances are that you clear the cutoff straight away. How is that I'm going to take this session? One, what I'll definitely do is strengthen your concepts in CR, because I believe that most of the time the reason why people make mistakes is because certain concepts are not clear. I also understand that you would have prepared for CR for your CAT, so some of them may be kind of repetition, but I still feel that it is important that you understand the concepts. Then the other thing that I'm doing is that I'll give you certain techniques to handle different type of CR questions. The methodology I'm going to use is, since it is a XAT session and all of you are basically taking the XAT, I will use previous year's XAT questions to achieve the stated objective. Some of you might have already solved these questions, but it doesn't matter because my focus is on concepts and techniques. And I will also end the session with a small 5 test that is for me to understand whether what is the learning at the end of the session. So it's a quick 5 test question. The session should take about 2 hours, unless until you have about any queries. Then about 2 hours 15 minutes. That's the plan. Okay. So So when you look at this, I'm sure you're aware how does the critical reasoning question look like. You are given an argument. This argument will be either 3 lines, 4 lines. Sometimes some. How is it now, Arpit? You're saying I have 1 second. Just hold on. I'll do something about my voice. Let me change the microphone. 1 second.
Oh, how do I now? I'm audible now?
Oh, sorry, I'm audible now? Yeah, okay, thank you. Great, so let me continue. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. So you have an argument, and then what you have is a question stem. Priyadarshini session has started, yes. So we'll have a question stem. Question stem is wherein you're basically asked either the argument strength, which of the following strengthens the argument, which is the following weakens the argument, which could be the logical flaw in the argument, so on and so forth. So question 7 is basically asking you a specific thing that you have to do with the argument, and then choose one of the 5 options. Obviously, the best option is what you have to choose. I have 4 rules for all of you. One is never be lazy. When I say never be lazy, when you're reading the argument, you must never be a lazy reader, which basically means that you have to understand the argument completely and clearly. And then rule 2 is never read the options before you have understood the argument completely. When I say never read the option, what basically happens is that 5 of the options are wrong. Sorry, out of the 5 options, 4 are incorrect. So it basically means that if you have not understood the argument and when you read the options, you're going to get lost, and there is no way you can survive after that. So you must always read the argument completely before you look at the options. Rule 3, almost always you will find the most obvious is the answer. Okay, almost always, especially with respect to conclusion questions and assumption question, almost the most obvious choice is the answer. And if you don't see the most obvious right answer, you can obviously figure out the most obvious wrong answer. So these are option 2 is strengthen. So which of the following options strengthen the argument? 3 is which of the following options weaken the argument? Then 4 is you are asked to find out the inference or the conclusion. Ayush is asking me what is the 4th rule. The 4th rule is basically elimination. Okay. And next is and the last is obviously the argument structure. So you essentially have to figure out what is the structure of argument, and in the XAT there have been questions on the same. Okay. So what we'll essentially do is that we will go one by one: assumption, strengthen, weaken, inference, conclusion, argument structure. So then we'll go a little depth of each of one. We'll solve some of the questions that have come in the XAT, and then we'll try and strengthen the concepts and see what are the tools that we require to handle these type of questions. So before I start, let's get to one step before and ask ourselves, what is critical reasoning? Now, critical reasoning is basically about evaluating arguments. Now, when I talk about arguments, please don't get confused by the argument as you understand in English. Because in English, argument is basically about 2 people fighting or a husband arguing with wife. When I talk about argument, I'm basically talking about argument as in philosophy. Please note that critical reasoning or reasoning is basically a part of logic, and logic is a part of philosophy. So when I look at arguments, this argument as how we see it in philosophy. That argument basically is a set of statements wherein certain statements are reasons from which you are arriving at a particular conclusion. For example, so argument is not one statement. Argument is a set of statements. Some of the statements are the reasons why you are arriving at a particular conclusion. The reasons are basically known as the premises or premise, and what we claim is a conclusion, right? So, for example, if I make an argument that Career Launcher is conducting a session, a critical reasoning session for all the students taking the CAT, therefore, all the students will benefit from this session. So, I have a reason, and then from the reason I arrive at a conclusion. That becomes one argument. So, I'm going to give you certain examples of arguments. So, I've picked 4 arguments. So let's, before I go further, I'll quickly take some questions. Vishal has a question which says, style of passage argumentative, what does it mean specifically? An argumentative passage is basically a passage that has got a lot of arguments. It's got its premises, it's got its conclusion, kind of thing. Anyway, so I have taken 4 examples of argument. So let's see the first one. The first one has got 3 premises and then arriving at a conclusion. So premise 1 says, rights are either God-given or evolve out of democratic process. Premise 2, most rights are based on the ability of people to agree on social contract. Premise 3, animals cannot possibly reach such agreements with other creatures. Premise 4, conclusion, therefore, animals cannot be said to have rights. So what you see, this entire 1, 2, 3, 4 becomes one argument. The argument he's making is that animal cannot have rights, and he is basically giving reasons. I'll take another example. This is basically the cosmological argument, they say. One is whatever begins to exist has a cause. The universe began to exist, therefore the universe had a cause. Or let's look at the argument that we are trying to, our argument for this session, which is the premise is, or the reason is, for the last 3 years, more than 30% of the questions in the verbal section were from critical reasoning. Therefore, this year, XAT will have more than 30% of the question in the verbal section from critical reasoning. So I have a reasons wherein I am arriving at a conclusion. And one more is a computer has no freedom of action, premise 1. Thus, premise 2 is a computer cannot deliberately break rules. Premise 3, cheating requires deliberately breaking rule. Therefore, a computer cannot cheat. So our first thing that we must do whenever we get a critical reasoning passage is to understand the argument, understand what are the premises and what is the conclusion. Okay. Ayush has a question, which is argument 4 isn't thus a trigger for the conclusion. Yes, it is. So this is one of those arguments where you have an interim conclusion and then further you are deriving further conclusions. So argument can have complex structure as well. We'll look at some of these arguments. So basically what you need to understand is what is got premises, which are reasons, and from there we are arriving at a conclusion. That is what is known as argument. Now this is a question that came in XAT 2009. This was a passage or the argument. What I want you guys to do is basically just read through this and in your mind understand what the argument is. Of course, we cannot have a two-way discussion on this, but at least have an understanding of what the argument is. So read it. I'll give you about 30 seconds to do that. Okay, great. So we've read it. So according to recent reports, CEOs of large organizations are paid more than CEOs of small organizations. Uh, it does not seem fair that just because a CEO is heading a big organization, he or she should be paid more. CEO's salary should be related to performance, especially growth in terms of sales and profits. Of course, big organizations are more complex than the small, but all CEOs require significant amount of energy and time in managing organization. There is no proof. I think there is a problem with that sentence. Anyways, all CEOs should be paid according to their performance. So basically, if you let me put that argument first. That is how I hope you can see. That is how the premises are. Basically, what is he doing is that he is saying that the CEO's salary should be related to performance. That is one of his premise. Second premise is irrespective of the size, all CEOs require significant amount of energy and time. Therefore, it is unfair that CEOs of large organizations are paid more. So that is essentially what the author is, or the person who's saying this is arguing. Now, when you solve the question, it is not needed that you write it in this particular format, but you must understand the argument in this particular format. Okay? So can I move, or anyone has any question? Okay, fantastic. This is a much simpler argument, XAT 2012. You can have a quick read. Then I'll put what the argument is. Okay. This is a simple argument. If you read line 1, it says, basically what he's saying is literacy rate fell from 1991 to 2001. Premise 1. Premise 2. Literacy rate increased from 2001 to 2006. Therefore, between 1991 to 2006, literacy rate increased. So that is basically the argument that is being presented in this short passage. Of course, it is not there. Of course, there is some problem with this particular argument, but our step 1 in terms of ensuring that our accuracy in critical reasoning is 100%, it's how effectively you understand the argument. So I'm going to put one last, this also a little simple argument. This question came in 2011, I believe. Oh, sorry, 2012 again. The last year question. An advertisement using more than 25 words of text will not be read. So basically saying that advertisement which uses more than 25 words of text will not be read. And when advertisement is not read, the product is not sold. Therefore, fewer words an advertisement has, the more effective it will be in promoting the product. So that's how the argument looks like. So 1, if an ad uses more than 25 words, it will not be read. 2, if an ad is not read, the product will not be sold. We can make an interim conclusion there. Therefore, if an ad uses more than 25 words, it will not be sold. So that is by connecting 1 and 2. And then what is the conclusion here is, therefore, fewer words an ad has, more effective is a promotion. So try and look at what the argument is. Now, I must also say that these 3 were relatively simpler, but that is also gives you pretty much complicated kind of passage. Somebody is asking, I was asking internal conclusion. I did not say internal conclusion, I'm just mentioning interim conclusion. So there is an interim conclusion that is being made, and then there is a final conclusion. There is no internal conclusion, external conclusion. There is an interim conclusion. Interim conclusion is that within the premise I'm making a short conclusion. I'll give you 30 seconds to read. Okay, I don't know how many of you lost by the time you hit sentence 3. How many are lost, or how many got the entire idea? Can you just give me some feedback? Surya Prakash is lost, Michael Ken is lost, Arpit Jain is lost, Ankita is lost, Yash is lost, Arnav is lost. You're all lost. Lost is halfway stage. Sentence 4, you're lost. Hina lost, Nisha lost, lost. Swayam says definitely lost. Deep says I'm still hanging on. Ashish says got it. Fantastic. Tapanjit says he's lost in the end. So people are reading for the. Garima just got the gist, but is that enough to answer? Actually, if you actually look at the question, which I'll definitely discuss later on, you do not require a deep understanding of this. Actually, the bigger the passages, what you essentially, bigger the passages, the likelihood of question being a direct one is very high. So I hope at least you have read it, so I'll not read the whole passage again. So this is how I have represented what I've seen. He's talking about two things. One is a being and one is becoming. Somewhere at the beginning he says, so this is how, one is somewhere in the beginning he says, soul is an integral part of the being, becoming is a visible world of matter, being is always is, it's like a minus infinity to plus infinity, becoming has no separate existence, being is unmoved, undisturbed, becoming is motion and disturbance, being is reality, and becoming is unreality. And somewhere towards the end he makes this argument, the realm of becoming are logically inconsistent with reality, therefore it is unworthy of study. So basically the problem with these passages is all over the place. So to try and get everything together into one, once we get everything together into one table, something like this, I'm sure now you'll be able to understand. So basically saying that it's like Baki Sab Maya type. So, so how many got this gist? This was fantastic. Great, thanks. So I'll move on. So this is basically about arguments. So now what we'll do is what I'll do is we'll go one by one: assumption, strengthen, weaken, inference, conclusion, argument, structure. So again, I'm telling you, my focus is about giving you concepts, right? Concepts of critical reasoning, right? So we'll start with assumption. Now I have a question first. What is assumption? When I say an assumption in an argument, what does it mean? Anyone can quickly type it. Arpit says that's implicit. Anyone else? Assumption is okay. So Ayush Agrawal got it absolutely right. So hidden premise. Okay. So thanks. So basically, so I have a premise and I'm arriving at a conclusion. Basically, an assumption is that which links the premise to the conclusion, but that is not stated. A hidden premise. So it's like a hidden premise. Let me give you an example. For example, if I say that career launcher, again, let me give this example. Career launcher is conducting a session on critical reasoning. Therefore, all students of career launcher will have an improvement in the CR, critical reasoning score. Again, the career launcher is conducting a session on critical reasoning. Therefore, all students of career launcher will have an improvement in the critical reasoning score. Now, I have made a jump from the premise to the conclusion. Yes, assumption number one is that all students will attend. If all students will attend, then only I can conclude that all students will benefit. Right. Another assumption could be that critical reasoning score can be improved by a session, right? So, so the way in which you need to understand assumption is basically something that links a premise to conclusion. An assumption is like a hidden premise. Okay. So what we'll do is let's go back to that original CEO wala case that we did. The premise where CEO salary should be related to performance, irrespective of size of all CEOs. Irrespective of size, all CEOs require significant amount of energy and time. Therefore, it is unfair the CEOs of large organizations are paid more. So, what are the assumptions here? Something that links your premise to the conclusion. So, there are two premises that I've stated here. What would be those two things which links the premise to the conclusion? Please understand that assumptions are the most obvious ones. So, I put so one is if you basically see CEO salary should be related to performance. Therefore, it is unfair that CEOs of large organizations paid more. Then I'm also assuming that performance is the factor that determines the salary. That is my assumption. And for example, on the second premise, irrespective of size, all CEOs require significant amount of energy and time. Then I'm also, what the assumption is, energy and time required are the same for both large and small organizations. So I hope assumption is now pretty clear what assumption means. Okay. So the critical reasoning is basically like this. It's a premise plus assumption is equal to your conclusion. So a premise plus a hidden premise is your conclusion. That's how a critical reasoning looks like. So while you're reading the passage and finding out the argument, you also need to broadly understand the assumptions. Also would broadly need to understand the assumptions. For assumption question, one of the things that you can also do is what is known as a negation test. That is to say, if the assumption is false, it will destroy the argument. So, for example, if I say that career launcher is conducting a session on critical reasoning, therefore, I'm getting some feedback that there is no audio. Is that across the board? Am I audible? Quick feedback, please. So most of it is saying yes. So I believe. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Let's carry on. So when I say the argument where all students of career launcher is conducting a session on 3R, therefore all students will benefit from the session. My assumption is all students will attend the session. Now, if that is false, that is all students are not attending the session, then I cannot make the conclusion. So one of the checks that you can do is, if the statement is false, will it destroy the argument? Will the statement is false, will it destroy the argument? Let's pick one question. This is in XAT 2010. So I don't give too much importance to the options now. Completely understand the argument first. So I'll give you about 30 seconds to read through that, please. Only focus on the left-hand side. Don't read the... Tapanjit, I'm not speaking, so there's no voice now. I've given you time to read what is written on left hand side, please. Okay, are we good? Okay, so let's move on. So this is how I have understood the argument. Basically, what you notice is is in retail outlets, items are purchased in any number of units. But in supermarket, it is purchased in bulk. This purchase offers savings. Therefore, it makes practical choice to buy in bulk from supermarkets. What you need to do before going to the option is to have a rough understanding of what could be the assumption. So here you see two things. One is there is a convenience that the retail outlets give because the person can buy any number of units. That convenience is not given by the retail. That convenience is not given by the supermarket. What supermarket gives is cost saving because of bulk purchases. So again I repeat. So on the one hand, there is the convenience of retail outlet, which is you can purchase any number of units. And on the other hand, there is that savings that you get when you buy in bulk from the supermarket. So these are, so what is the assumption? Now let's look at the options and tell me which fits the bill. Tapanji, you've got it right. Michael, you've got it right. Sanya, you've got it right. Henna, you've got it right. Garima got it right. Keshav got it right. Yes, absolutely. I think Deepthi got it right. So all of you got it right. So I've got, so some of you have not given me feedback. So the next time you can be a little quicker. So it is E. So basically E says the financial savings from purchasing bulk packages may outweigh the inconvenience of being unable to purchase in any number of units that suits the customer's need. So clearly, what you can see is that once you've understood the arguments clearly, then the likelihood of you getting the answer correct is almost 100%. Okay. Any questions you have on this particular question, or can I move on? Rahul says, why not A? Supermarkets often have greater buying power and lower overhead cost, so they can offer a greater variety of product than regular retail. They're talking about greater variety of product. No, but the argument is not about variety of product. Argument is about the number of units that I can buy and the savings that I get in bulk purchase. So it's not, that is irrelevant to the argument, option A. Okay. So option E is right, absolutely. Okay. Let's move on. Okay. This one. So first is understand the argument completely and then check. I'll give you about 30 seconds or 45 seconds to answer this. Tapanji is pretty good, yeah. So you got it right. Ritika got it right. Rishi, you got it wrong. Arpit got it right. Vishal got it wrong. Tushar got it wrong. Kush got it wrong. Balram got it wrong. Rahul, Garima, you got it wrong. Swaraj, you're right. Sridhar, you got it wrong. Shit, it's coming fast. So basically C, and some of you marked D. And there are a few ways that I'm getting. Those who are marked, okay. Okay, so most of you have committed on an answer. So let me move on. Basically, first is what is the argument? The argument says owners are interested in boosting the revenues. Premise B, they do so by pandering to the voyeuristic tendencies of viewers. Conclusion, therefore, there is an increase in the number of reality shows on TV channels. So owners are interested in boosting the revenues. Therefore, there is a increase in the number of reality shows. So if I look at option A, reality shows on television channel are a recent phenomena, has got nothing to do with this argument. It is irrelevant. So it is not an assumption at all. Even if that is false, it will not do anything to the argument. Option B is again irrelevant. Everything that a channel broadcasts should be educational. Now option C, which some of you marked, reality shows on television appeal to the basic instinct of viewers. reality shows appeal to the basic instincts of the viewers. Let me keep that aside. But if I look at option D, reality shows make more money than any other programs. That has to be the assumption. I'll tell you why. Just listen to this very carefully. It says that owners are interested in boosting their revenues. Therefore, there is an increase in the number of reality shows on TV channels. So what is definitely missing there, or the gap there, is that reality shows make more money than others. Now let's look at it. Let's do the negation test. What if statement in option D is wrong? What if it is wrong or it is false? The reality show does not make more money. What if it is wrong? The reality show does not make more money than other type of programs. If reality show does not make more money than other type of program, then I cannot make the conclusion that an increase in reality show will increase the revenue. So what D does is basically is the right assumption, because if D is wrong, it completely destroys the argument. Now, if you look at C, it is an option where the person has used the question setter has tried to trick you. What the question setter is saying: reality shows on television appeal to the basic instincts of viewers. Basic instincts of viewer. And what that is being said in the premise is they do so by pandering to the voyeuristic tendencies of viewers. Right. Even if you put negation test on C, reality shows on television appeal to the basic, even if it does not appeal to the basic instinct of the viewer, it may still appeal to the voyeuristic tendencies of the viewer. But if you put the negation test on D, it absolutely destroys the argument. So D is the perfect assumption here. Okay. You look at E, the channel owners can influence what is watched by the viewers. Yes. Oh, Rahul, I'm sorry. So, see, C, D, and E are pretty close, and you might get confused between those three things. But what is definitely missing, or definite gap, is the D gap. Voyeur is something. How do you say? Voyeur is someone like I want to watch it, right? I get excited by watching something, kind of a thing. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay. Let's like Big Boss. Yes, Tapanjit. Yeah, Big Boss. So D is the answer. Let's do this. This is not an assumption, but yes, it's about giving one more premise to the whole thing. Just go through this, please. Okay, Ashish Kapoor asked a question. They ask for a premise, not an assumption. A hidden premise is an assumption, Ashish. So we basically want one more premise, right? So Deep, you've got it right. Sanya got it right. Very good. Yeah. Aarti, the answer to the previous question was D. I'm still getting some wrong answer. So basically, when I'm getting wrong answers, the only thing is that you're not understanding the argument completely. Yeah, it is E. E is the answer. So I'll tell you why. It says Ram, an economist, and Ramesh, an astrologist, had a debate. So two of them are fighting. What Ram is saying is astrology does not work. It just cannot predict. What Ramesh is refuting is that Ramesh can predict better. So the economist is saying that he can predict better. An astrologist is saying he can predict better. The best thing to do is ask him to predict something and then check. Okay. So let's start with D. What is the problem with D? D says conduct an experiment where both astrologers and economists would be asked to predict the future. Compare the number of predictions that come true. And if you look at E, it's the same thing, but he's asking compare the percentage of prediction that come true. So between an absolute value and percentage value, percentage gives me a better sense, right? Okay. And for B, the problem with B is this: compare past performance astrologists and economists in terms of number of predictions which have come true. Two problems. One is number of predictions that has come true. I don't know how many they have predicted. Second is in the past. So then between B and E will be better. So instead of comparing past performance, what is better is to ask the problem with past performance. Also, the second problem with B is, like I said, compare past performance astrologists and economists in terms of number of predictions. So, for example, let's say economics says Economica 5 predictions came true, Astrologica 2 prediction came true, but let's say the economist has made 100 prediction out of which 5 came true, and astrologer 5 prediction out of which 2 came true. Yeah. So that kind of thing. So E is right. Okay. Can I move on? Is that okay? Any issues with this? Okay, Vishal. More feedback, quick feedbacks, please. Thank you. Ankita has a good question. Could it have been B if they had said percentage of past predictions? See, past prediction and future predictions. I think between the two, I'll still go for future because I'll still go with future because they are having a debate today and asking them to predict today, and I'll check tomorrow. That is better than actually checking the past. Let's move on. So now we are getting into a little tricky area. So please pay attention, okay? And I will go slow. If you feel that I am going fast, please let me know. If you feel that I am going slow, don't say anything. Okay? I am going slow by design. So we are looking at strengthening the argument and weakening the argument. Strengthen the argument and weaken the argument. So let's do a little bit of basic. What does strengthening argument and weakening argument mean? So basically, strengthening argument, weakening argument means that I am basically giving you additional statement and asking you what it does to the argument. For example, let me give you a simple example. Let's say Arpit tells me, tells all of you that he tried calling Jijo or me 10 times, but he never picked the call. Therefore, next time I'm going to call Jijo, he will not pick the call. So it's a simple example. The argument goes, Arpit called me 10 times, I never picked the call. Therefore, the next time Arpit is going to call me, that's an argument. Now, if I give an addition, which is this, that Arpit called 5 a.m., but Jijo had a class. So the reason why Jijo didn't pick the call is all probability he had a class. Okay. So what does strengthening weakening mean is that there are statements. Now these statements can come from anywhere. This statement may not have any direct relation to this. But to the current argument, but statements that either support or reject the premise or even the assumption are that is what strengthening or weakening means. So it is basically a left-hand side operation. I'm not doing anything to the conclusion. I'm not trying to attack the conclusion per se. What I'm basically trying to attack is the premises given or the assumption given. Assumption again is a link between premise and the conclusion. Let's take an example to understand this further. I have taken this example. Just read that argument that I put below about. Okay, let me read it. Helica, a new drug that can cure a common disease, that until now has been fatal for 50% of those infected is made from the root of the New Zealand banana nut tree. The banana nut tree is rare in New Zealand, and large quantities of the roots are necessary in order to make Helica. Therefore, if Helica remains in production, banana nut tree will eventually become extinct. Yeah, it is a GMAT question. Okay. So that is a simple. So I have put three statements. Let's go through one. So basic argument is, the more is the usage of Helica, the more it will get extinct. The reason why it will get extinct is the fact that it is rare in New Zealand. So if you look at the statement that I've written below weekend, is that the banana nut tree, although native to New Zealand, can easily be grown in other parts of the world. Because it can be grown easily in other part of the world, the chance, it weakens the argument because it will not become extinct. Okay, is that okay? Does that make sense? Okay, it is only okay. Fantastic. And if you look at strength in the argument, that is on the right hand side, it is predicted that those affected by the common disease will triple in 2 years. So that basically means that more number of people are basically going to use Helica and basically remain in production, and that basically strengthen whatever argument is made. And if you look at the what is mentioned in the middle, these are irrelevant or need more assumptions. If you look at statement 1, the company that holds the patent of Helica has exclusive right to produce another drug for another 10 years. That is irrelevant or needs more assumption. It says that it has got exclusive right to produce another 10 years. It is not mentioned they will produce the drugs for another 10 years. And if you look at the second statement, Helica is expensive and is not currently covered by major insurance plans. Again, you have to make additional assumption that because if it is so, let's move on. This is the same question. What you need to do is a person seeking to refute the argument might argue that. So which of the following weakens the argument? So take about yeah, I'm already getting answers. Michael up and now, yeah, all of your answers are right. Yes. Have you done this question before, or this is the first time you're doing it? Some things. Yeah, fantastic. So, if okay, so that basically the argument is CEO salary should be related to performance, irrespective of the size. All CEOs require significant amount of energy and time managing it. Therefore, it is unfair that CEOs of a large organization are paid more. So basically, I put the 5 options into these 2 columns. So what weakens the argument is this: managing big organization is more challenging than small. Now it attacks premise 2. It says premise 2 says, irrespective of the size, all CEOs require significant amount of energy and time managing it. So we have assumed that they require equal time. Therefore, this weakens the argument. Yeah. B is the answer. Managing big organization is more challenging than small. If you look at A, please remember, I have to basically identify the statement that weakens the argument. Okay. A says CEO should be paid equally. That is just a restatement. If you look at option C, if CEOs of small companies perform well, the company would become big and so would be CEO's salary. That is actually irrelevant to the argument that we are making. CEOs who travel more, nothing is talked about traveling. Highly qualified CEOs, I don't know who they are. highly qualified CEOs should be paid more because they have acquired difficult education. So B is the answer. Is that okay? Ayush has a question. Do all weakening questions have one option which strengthens the argument? Not necessary. It is not necessary. Okay. Okay. So one sec. Somebody is asking, please explain why not C. That's Pooja's question. The C option says, if CEOs of small companies, so let me just go back to the previous slide, it will be easier. Okay. The CEO says, where is it? Yeah. It is, if CEOs of small companies perform well, the company would become big, and so would the CEO's salary. So that really does not weaken the argument, because the argument is basically saying, one, it should be related to performance, and two, the amount of energy and time managing it is the same. This does nothing to the argument. Please understand that what the statement that weakens the argument or strengthens the argument needs to attack either the premise or the conclusion. This does not do anything. Option C does not do anything. Option managing big organization more challenging than small is clear. If managing big organization more challenging than small, it makes sense for the CEOs to be paid more of big organization. Okay. Which of the following, if true, strengthen the? Okay. This is the same question. Which of the following strengthen the speaker's argument? Okay, Sanya have got it right. Kush, Vishal, Shobit, you guys have got it wrong. Wait a second. Wait. Many of you are marking B. Just remember what the argument is. It has to strengthen the argument. The argument says that CEOs of big companies should not be paid more. CEOs of big companies should not be paid more. That is the argument. So which of the strengthens that? Right. The worst thing that you can do is miss out on silly things. Yes. The answer is A. I'll tell you why. Okay, just hold on. If you look at B, CEOs in the big organizations take much longer to reach top. So basically say that it is more painful for CEOs of big organizations to reach the top. So it is actually weakening the argument. It is not strengthening the argument. If you look at C, CEOs of big organizations are very difficult to hire. Again, weakening the argument. A few family businesses have CEOs from within the family. It's weakening the argument because those CEOs have made it very easy on top. These big organizations contribute more towards moral development of society. It's talking about big organizations doing something more. So B, C, D, and E are not the answers. So A is the answer. Is that okay? Please explain option D. Okay, a few big family businesses have CEOs from within the family. If you remember the argument basically says that the salary should be based on performance, and the time and energy of managing everything is the same. But what you see here is that in here basically says few big family business have CEOs from within the family. It only talks about a very specific case of a family business. And second thing that he says is a few. So it doesn't really, strengthen that argument. So the reason why A is right, because B, C, D, E are wrong. It's like, sometimes what you have to do, sometimes the statements are obvious, sometimes the statements are not, but what you essentially notice is that the difference between, hear me carefully, the difference between attempting an assumption question An attempting and strengthen weaken question is that in a strengthen weaken question, you have to go through all the options. You have to go through the process of eliminating options. Okay. So let's just move on. This one. I'm getting B's, I'm getting C's, I'm getting A's. Oh. Okay. So let's first quickly go, which one is the answer? C. Okay. Let me go one by one. It says Hindi ought to be the official language of India, right? Don't worry, everyone. I'll go each options. I will evaluate all the options. Okay, so don't worry. Now it says Hindi ought to be the official language of India. There is no reason of the government to spend money printing documents in different languages just to cater to people who cannot read or write Hindi. So what is basically saying is that government should not be spending money for printing documents in different languages. The government has better way to spend taxpayers' money. People across India should read, write Hindi or at least learn. Let me just go to that previous slide. The argument goes something like this. Just check out what is written here. Okay. One is official documents are printed in different languages for which taxpayers' money is used. Government has better ways to spend taxpayers' money. Hindi should be the official language. Therefore, there is no reason to print in different language. Okay. Is that okay? So let me analyze each of the options now. If you look at option A, the government currently translates official document into more than 18 languages is just a statement which is basically doing nothing much to the argument. The argument is about government spending taxpayers' money to print this document. So he is saying don't do it. Print only in Hindi. Because that is the reason why Hindi actually had to be the official language of India. Okay, so A is doing nothing. B, Hindi is the most difficult language in the world to speak. I don't know why you mentioned B. People across India should read, write Hindi. So just because Hindi is the most difficult language in the world to speak, how is that linked? You have to make one more assumptions here for that to weaken the argument. That is, that something that is difficult to speak must not be learned. Right. If you look at D, most people who travel across India learn Hindi within 5 years. Irrelevant. It is not attacking the argument. The argument is about government spending money. The argument is not about people learning Hindi. The reason why people have to learn Hindi is because government is spending money and there are better ways to spend taxpayers' money. E, making Hindi the official language is a politically unpopular idea. We have nowhere in the argument have I seen anything about politically unpopular. But if you look at C, people who are multilingual usually pay maximum tax. So basically people who speak different languages, they pay the tax. So when you're printing documents in different languages, it is their money. Right. So that weakens the argument. Anuradha Krishnan says, assume that people who don't speak Hindi, it weakens the argument. Shweta, it weakens the argument. It weakens the argument because the argument says that the reason why you should not be he's saying it's a waste of money. It's a waste of taxpayers' money to print documents in different languages, print everything in Hindi. Now this guy says, option C says, But the person who are paying the maximum money are people who speak different languages or multilingual languages. Why should I learn? I'm paying the maximum money to print in my language. That kind of an argument. Okay. This, I think this is the easiest one, I believe. So let's hope everybody, this is the easiest one, let's hope everybody gets this right. Okay, Vishal, Shreya, Arpit, Rishi, Sanya, Pintu, Pritam, all of you right. Nagapan, Henna, Nikhil, Sudhir, hello, Kumar, Kush, with Michael, Anhar, you got it wrong. Rakshit, Harsh, Sobis. These answers. Now it's pretty straightforward. It says from 1991 to 2001 it fell, but from 2001 to 2006 it increased, and therefore he's concluding that from 1991 to 2006 it has increased. That basically means whatever is that our assumption there is whatever is the raise that happened later on is more than the fall. So D is D's answer. D is not against the fact statement argument. Look at what D says. D says the rate of fall in literacy rate between 1991 and 2001. That is given an argument. There has been a fall, but what D says, the rate of fall in literacy rate between 1991 and 2001 was more than the rate of rise in literacy rate from 2001 to 2006. The fall was more than the rise. So net, it would have fell. So that refutes the argument. Right. Huh? So D. I hope this is fine. Anyone else still has a problem with this? Okay. So I'm moving on. Yeah, this one. Which of the following, if true, most strengthen the argument? No lazy reading. Just read the argument carefully and then answer. Yeah, Amber right, Sudhir right, Abhishek you're right, Keshav you're right, Preetam you're right, Nisha, yeah, most of you are getting it right. Some of you are getting it wrong. Ravi you're right. Michael, you got it wrong, Michael. Some of you are getting it right. Just the last statement. Some current scholars reject this distinction, claiming that all behavior is a predictable interaction of experience and genotype. So basically, if experience and genotypes are the same, then the response will be the same. D. My suggestion is, guys, don't do lazy reading. Some scholars reject this distinction. So if you look at the argument, it says ethologists, people who study animal behavior, have traditionally divided organisms into two categories. So they are divided. So what the other scholars is saying is that don't do that, because it is predictable interaction of experience and genotype. So we have to understand which of the following strengthens the argument. If B is not right, if all organisms with different genotypes and different genotype respond to identical situation, then it is not No, it says, if you look at the last line, it says, claim that all behavior is a predictable interaction of experience and genotype. It has to be both. It is not one, Yuvraj. It has to be both. It has to be both experience and genotype. Yeah, A and C both would weaken. Ashima, you're right. This one, careful reading of the premises. Understand the premises, understand the argument carefully. Raghav, very good. Tushar, good. Raghav Singla, very good, very good. Priyadarshini got it wrong. Nirali, good. Harsh, good. Keshav, Bagri, good. Pinak, good. Pintu, got it right. Vibor, you got it wrong. Shreya. Vishal Ranjan, you got it wrong. Well, Raghav says you've done this question before, so no good. Okay. No problem, Raghav. Okay. Let me just move. Basically, it says media are not just passive channels of information. Not only do they supply the stuff of thought, but they also shape the process of thought. And what the internet seems to be doing is chipping away our capacity of concentration. So what this argument is this, that media shape the process of thought, and internet is given as an example. And internet does something very specific. Internet shapes it by chipping away our capacity for concentration. So what it does is media shapes the process of thought. Negative, positive, I don't know, but media has a negative shaping of the process of thought. So how exactly to get there? So it says media are not just passive channels of information. That basically means the media is active. Not only do they supply the stuff of thought, but also shape the process of thought. Not only they supply, they also shape the process of thought. And what the internet seems to be doing. He says, and what the internet seems to be doing is just he's talking about one specific media, as an example, seems to be doing is chipping away our capacity of concentration. Now, of the 5 options that you have to choose that which gives you a sense that media is shaping the process of thought. I need to identify which of the following strengthens the argument. Please remember that. The thing that strengthens the argument is which of the following strengthen the thought. So I'm putting those arguments again. Some of your marks C. Studies have shown that essay writing skills of an average 15 to 20-year-old who spend a lot of time browsing the internet is comparable to what it was among 15 to 20-year-old throughout 1890s and 90s. That is against what is written about internet. So that does not strengthen it. It definitely does not strengthen. In fact, it weakens it. The ability of younger judges who have grown up with ready access to internet to judge complex and integrate cases and on an average become better. It says it has become better. It has not decreased. So internet has, it is A. B talks about timekeeping instruments. Timekeeping instruments is not media. So all A says is that A shaped that media shaped the process of thought. It is about media shaping. Option D. The recent study has shown that number of people who fall asleep while reading a printed book has increased in the last 5 years. Is that shaping the process of thought? Reading book. Okay, let me explain option A. Okay, again, one sec. I will go one by one once again. For all of you, please listen to me. Let's start from option E. Okay, I'll go E, D, C, B. What is he saying? Look at what, look at this last sentence. And what the internet seems to be doing is chipping away our capacity of concentration. So it is stated that internet is chipping away our capacity of concentration. The concentration is reducing. But what he is saying is directly the opposite. The ability of younger judges who have grown up with ready access to internet to judge complex intricate cases has on an average becomes better. Right. So it absolutely contradicts the last statement. So it does not strengthen at all. In fact, it weakens. If you look at D, a recent study has shown that the number of people who fall asleep while reading a printed book has increased in the last 5 years. We are talking about shaping the process of thought, not just passive, but supply the process of thought, shaping the process of thought. This is talking about somebody sleeping off. Maybe the books are wrong. If you look at C, it's got the same problem like E, but right. D is talking about timekeeping instruments and daily activity based on clock. So A, if you read A, meets C, was forced to use a typewriter when he started losing his vision. So he lost his vision. After he mastered the machine, he could type with his eyes closed. It was later found that under the effect of the machine, he's saying it under the effect of the machine. So it is a media shaping the process of thought. Sleeping is not shaping the process of thought, Priyadarshini. Look at option A. It is clearly written. Look at the second sentence. It was later found that under the effect of machine, these prose change from argument to aphorisms, from thoughts to puns, from rhetoric to telegrams. It does shape this process of thought. So between A and D, even if you assume that D will in somehow strengthen the argument, A strengthens it better. Is it okay? Rahul, it is the crux of the argument. Again, I'm saying, Rahul, you missed the argument. Okay, let me hear all of you here once again. That argument is this: media are not just passive. That is the crux. Media shapes the process of thought, and internet is given as an example. And right, there are two things that he's saying. Media, there are a lot of different kinds of media. But everything shapes the process of thought. And he has given how internet specifically shapes the process of thought by chipping our concentration. Clocks is not media, Henna. It's about media. How is B is not close? B is very far. Timekeeping in. Okay. I'll come back to this towards the end if you still have a fight. We can fight it. This one. Which of the following weakens argument? It's the same question. So this is the second question, but now he's asking which of the following weakens argument. I am sure all of you are now getting it right. It has to be E. He is saying directly opposite to what there is mentioned about internet. Directly opposite. So E weakens it most. C weakens it. Yes. D weakens it. D does not do anything in fact. E destroys it. Ashish, E destroys it. You have to choose the best option. What is stated in the argument is that and what the internet seems to be doing is chipping away our capacity of concentration, cutting our capacity of concentration. What he is saying, the judges are doing far better, right opposite. You have to choose the best. What is he saying is that it is comparable. What is he saying is exactly the opposite. So if you draw a curve, one is a straight line, one is a curve that goes down. The thing that goes down is weakening. Right? Chetan, are you fine? Ashish, is that okay? Okay, thanks. Oh, chalo. Let's get this one right. Yeah, Ananya Datta. Ash Abhishek Sinha, good. Ishan Bansal, Ritika, Tapanjit, good. Pintu, you're right. Ashish Mahajan got it wrong. Swayam Patra got it right. Ashish Kedia got it right. Keshav got it right. Garima got it right. Shikin Chaudhary got it right. Niku Nishandi got it wrong. Dev Bopan, Rishi Pawar. Most of you are getting it right, and some of you are still making some mistake. I think that the reason why you're doing so is because you read it carefully. Don't never do lazy reading. Okay, read it carefully. You should not miss even one line. As it is B. Fantastic. If you're solving this problem for the first time, fantastic. Though the argument basically says is that classroom lecture leads to widespread use of classroom lecture leads to severe negative consequences. The first consequence is theoretically knowledgeable graduate who do not apply theory to solve real world problems. So basically, what he's saying, that add theory to application. D is better than A, Ankit. D says modify pedagogy to have knowledge of theory and application in parallel. The argument never states that remove theory completely. You need theory. Theory and application. An illustration of real life problems in the classroom is just a discussion of real life problems in the classroom, so to speak. An application is much more than that, means more than that. Okay, Ankit, Pooja, is that okay? Why D is better than A? Illustration of real life problems in the classroom is basically I'm talking about real life problems in the classroom. But when I'm saying applying theoretical knowledge, I'm doing something much better. And I'm talking about changing the pedagogy or methodology. So D is apt. Is that fine, Ankit? Yeah. Thank you. Okay. We come to the fourth one, which is inference and conclusion. Okay, so now I use a doubt. So, okay, what it should be the step? Your step number one is that you read the question stem, whether it's asking to strengthen the argument, whether it's asking weaken the argument, assumption, inference, conclusion, argument, question stem, so that you have an idea what is that you want to hunt in the passage. Then you go to the passage, read it thoroughly, try and understand what could be the mota answer, and then you read the option. Right. Vishal Ranjan says strengthening and weakening argument should be applied to the whole passage or just the argument in the passage. Vishal, it is the arguments in the passage. See, basically, if you have, let's say the question is about strengthening the argument, and then you found out two things that strengthen the argument, then you have to check the degree of strengthening, right? Which strengthens more? Then you have to probably check what is the core argument which really strengthens it or which really weakens it. Otherwise, by and large, when you have just one of the option which is strengthening, it can be okay. So let's go inference. Inference, I have just one, and inference is like a conclusion, okay? When assumption is a hidden premise or premise, inference is like a hidden conclusion. So basically what you have premises, from there you're trying to find out the conclusion. So basically it has to be the most obvious. And secondly, it has to directly come from the argument. You cannot take anything extra. Which is the most obvious that you can directly imply from the argument without adding any more assumptions. Rishi has a question. Sir, I have a question. Of an argument is restatement or conclusion, not a restatement. Jijo is a good boy. Therefore, Jijo is a good boy. So that is not an inference, right? Rishi, okay? This one, which is the most obvious? inference and conclusions are almost the same. So when let's say I'm saying this, all people lying in the gutter are poor. Premise 1. Premise 2, Jijo is lying in the gutter. Therefore, I'm asking you what is the conclusion. That therefore Jijo is poor is inference. Yeah, Garima right, Shobit right, yes. Assumptions and inference. Assumption is a hidden premise. Assumption means a premises are given, conclusion is given. And one hidden premise is assumption. A hidden conclusion is inference. When premises are given, in conclusion is not given. Okay, I think all of you are getting it right. That's the most obvious. E is irrelevant. Rahul, how did you mark E? Citizens should limit their consumption, which will reduce the demand of products, thus reducing inflation. Look at what the argument is. Don't be a lazy reader, guys. You cannot be missing questions like these. In era of global capital, so much money is now flowing throughout the world, and no single country can fight the problem of inflation effectively by tightening its monetary policy. One country cannot do anything on its own. So C is right. Countries' finance ministers have insufficient control over their respective economies. Yeah? Please explain. So it says that, okay, is it okay? Ayush Agrawal, is that okay? My explanation? Okay, this one. The most obvious. Sorry, I'll come back to this on this. Yeah, Ishan, Tapanjit, Ishan, Tushar, all got it right. The obvious one. Keshav right, Ashish right. The obvious. Ananya Datta, check once again, got it wrong. Depopam, got it wrong. Kushal, got it wrong. Just once again. Arpit got it wrong. Just check for 3. From where are we arriving at that conclusion from 3? It is V only. It is very clearly given. If I read the second sentence, we must not think of an individual but a certain class as a whole. A probability of death is attached to the class of men or to another class. So what I can conclude is probability calculation requires class of data. What I cannot conclude is 1. Then I don't have any data for 3. The data about a class of event can be used to predict the future of any specific event. Any. That is a catch. So B only. Okay. This one. Which of the following is in accordance with the idea contained in the passage? Dipom got it right, Amber you got it right, Abhishek right, Vishal, Sahil, Kumar, Raghav, Sudhir, you've all got it right. Fantastic. Nalini Malik got it right, Chetan got it right, Nikhil got it right, Shubh, you got it wrong. Check once again. Yeah, all of you getting it right, most of you. Kushal, Budhya, you getting it wrong. Rest of you right. Soumya, you got it wrong. Hello, you got it wrong. Garima Singh, you got it wrong. Who else? Shit. A. A. I'll explain why E is, why did you fell for the trap of B? E is a trap set in the question. A is the answer. If you look at basic argument, it says, the benefits of physiotherapy results not only from the advice the therapist gives, but also from the supportive relationship offered to the patient. Even though this relationship may cost large amount of money over years, most patients interpret the therapist's concern for them as genuine and identify this caring relationship as the primary factor in improving their mental health. Basically say that therapists care for the patients and patients feel that because of that their mental health have improved. However, recent studies have found that only 8% of therapists patients continue after the patient terminates formal paid visit. So once the formal paid visit stops, the help stops. It's like saying this. For example, let's say I, as a teacher, teachers when till the time you pay me fee, and I teach pretty well, so very happy with me. The moment you stop paying me fee, I stop teaching you. So what does that mean? Yes, I'm interested in teaching you. That is why I taught you really well. But also interested in money. Otherwise, I would have still taught you. Right? So A is the right one. Therapists are equally concerned with money making and their patient's well-being. They are concerned about the patient's well-being. Okay. Arpita, I'm not suggesting anything. Yeah, just a example that came to my mind. Why not B? Reading published articles of reputed psychotherapists will hardly be beneficial. That is nothing, no relation. Rishi Power, nothing. It has to be the most obvious. Now E says 8% of the patient will continue to improve after the termination of therapy. So that is basically trying to fool you by putting the 8% on top. Why not see? Therapists can always treat mental illness without use of prescription drugs. Where have I seen prescription drugs? Anywhere have I seen? I'm not seen anywhere. I cannot make any things about prescription drugs. Right, so C cannot be the answer, Swayam. A is okay. The option most opposite. Read the question step. Option most opposite to the idea in the paragraph. Option most opposite. Rajan, once again, Rajan Pandey, I did not conclude that they fell in relationship. Basically what he's saying is that you paid me money, I'm treating you really well. The moment you stop paying me money, I stop treating you. So my relationship with you, I treat you really well. Shobit Truth got it wrong. There is something that is very, very obvious sitting there. One option, many of you are getting right. One option is very, very, very obvious sitting in there. This is where it is. Read this line, and there is something that seriously contradicts that line. See, films are solely built upon visual and eye-catching scenes. That seriously contradicts that. Again, the stem says the option most opposite to the idea in the paragraph. So please guys, read the question stem carefully. Okay, so C is the answer. It is exactly opposite to what is stating there. Okay, I'm moving on. This one. Not implied. Okay. Not implied. So which is not implied. One obvious thing is sitting there. Karishma, you got it right. Abhishek, you getting it right. Pinak, you got it right. Yeah, most of you getting it right. There's an obvious. Rahul Srivastava got it wrong. Rahul, which is not implied, please. Yeah, your dot on. Yes. B. Killers also get killed in the war is implied. The war is especially ruthless is implied. War is definitely not. What I can. Humanity gets divided by war and reunites after peace. I don't know if we don't get this anywhere. That they reunite after peace. Okay, I'll. Shub says we don't get A. A will get no. Killers also get killed in the war. Killing us along with the killers. Okay. This is what is not implied. Fantastic. The above statement imply the following except. I'm getting some B's, some D's, some E's. Okay, some B's and E's, A, B, D. Okay. Oh, D, E. I'm showing you the answer. Option B. Okay. First, let me tell you why option B is wrong. Now, it is playing with the words. I'll explain why option B is wrong. What this argument saying is, randomness has to be dealt with successfully to ensure a better control over one's life. So he's saying that if I have to control, if I have to have a better control over my life, randomness has to be dealt. Before one can effectively deal with randomness. Okay. Because one can deal effectively with randomness. Note the word can. Okay. Before one can deal effectively with randomness, one must acknowledge its existence. Now what he's saying is that one acknowledge the existence, one will be able to deal. Right. That is before one D. Okay. Now the question is, what about D? Everyone lives in a random world. It's implied, right? So randomness has to be dealt successfully to ensure a better control over one's life. So there is some kind of relation between randomness and life. So everyone lives in a random world can be sort of implied. But what I cannot imply is B. I can imply, no, I can still imply. Randomness has to be dealt successfully to ensure a better control over one's life. So he is saying that if I have to have a better control of one's life, then I need to. Okay. So E says, if one does not acknowledge the existence of randomness, one cannot deal with it effectively. That is perfect. Look at this. It cannot. Okay. So it is like if X then Y means not Y, therefore not X. It says before one can effective randomness, one must. What about C? One can deal with randomness if and only one acknowledges its existence. Supriya says, is it very extreme? It is not really very extreme. It says before one can deal effectively with randomness. So that basically says I cannot deal effectively with randomness without acknowledging its existence. So if I acknowledge its existence, I can deal with randomness. If I can deal with randomness, then I would have acknowledged the existence. So both are true here. If X then Y, if Y then X. So that will be if X then Y only if I'm hoping. Okay. Any other questions here? Difference between will be able to or can. Will be able to is like I'm sure I'll be able to deal. It's like saying that is it saying that you have to first acknowledge existence before you even start thinking of dealing with it. I'm not even saying you'll be able to deal with it, but if you the starting point is acknowledge existence. So B is saying that once you acknowledge existence, it will be dealt with. So that is not what is mentioned number. Okay. Let's move on. Let me talk about a little bit about argument structure. This is the last part, and after that we'll have 5-question quiz. Argument structure. So basically, so this is a little bit of theory. 2 minutes of theory. One sec. Okay. Basically, there are two kinds of arguments. One is deductive reasoning, and one is inductive reasoning. So what you essentially notice is that in deductive reasoning, it's like this. If I say all students who are attending this session, all students attending this session are single. So what I'm basically doing is that my premise is basically true for the entire universe. All students attending this session are single. Amber Dubey is attending this session. Therefore, Amber Dubey is single. Right. So if first what I'm saying, my premise is a universal set, and from there I'm deriving it to the conclusion. It is not false reasoning. Reasoning is true. We are not interested in the truth or falsity argument. It's like saying if all people lying in the gutter are poor, and if Jijo is lying in the gutter, it has to be true that Jijo is poor. Right. If all A are B and all B are C, it has to be true that all A are C. It's like syllogism. Syllogisms, your categorical syllogism, some pen or pencil, all pen, that kind of a thing. That is your deductive reasoning. But when it comes to inductive reasoning, you are going the ulta round. You are starting with the premise, which is for a part of the set. It's like saying, for example, if I say all the elephants that I have observed so far, all the elephants that we have observed so far have been black. जितना elephant मैंने देखा है, सब black है, black था, whatever. Okay. I am concluding, therefore all elephants are black. That means my conclusion is universal. So from a specific, I move to a general conclusion. That is inductive reasoning. Okay. So if you look at typically your, I'll not get too much into this and confuse you a lot. But basically what critical reasoning is about inductive reasoning. Right. Basically you identify the strength. In inductive reasoning it will be either probably true or probably false. Right. So if I say that 70% of people who were surveyed said they will vote for XYZ party. Therefore XYZ party will win. So that's right. So there are inductive is always weaker than deductive. Yeah, deductive is definitely true or definitely false. Right. It's like deductive reasoning is like 0-1. Inductive reasoning is more like a probability between 0 and 1. See, there are 4 types of inductive reasoning. This I am giving you because it has come in this that. One is an inductive generalization, causal argument, argument from analogy, and argument from authority. So there are 4 types. I'll explain this one by one. Inductive generalization is I'm making a generalization. One second. Nikita says I didn't understand. So let me one last time. basically what I'm doing in deductive reasoning is that my premise is universal, right, or general. What I'm basically saying is that all students who attend this session are taking the XAT. So I'm basically saying something which is true for the entire set. Now, therefore, it has to be true for part of the set. So, for example, therefore, if Nikita is attending the session, then it must be true that Nikita is taking the XAT. You understood? It's like saying that all politicians are corrupt. Jijo is a politician, therefore Jijo is corrupt. That kind of an argument. So my premise is something that is true for the entire set. Okay. Now when it comes to inductive reasoning, I'm moving the other way around. I don't know everything about part of the set. Okay. I am saying something like this. About 80% of the politicians were caught. Therefore all politicians are corrupt. Something like that. What I'm saying is that my premise is only for part of the set, and I'm making a general conclusion. Is that okay? Yeah, deduction is from generic to specific, and induction is from specific to general. Yeah, that's right. Inductive generalization is this. Is an argument which looks like this. 70% of the people surveyed said they will vote for XYZ party. Therefore, XYZ party would win. It's like I know part of the set, and I'm making a generalization for the entire set. Right. Is that okay? This is simple. I know part of it. I'm making a conclusion for the entire set. That is inductive generalization. So this, okay. Sorry, if you look at this argument, after studying a random sample of 1024 individuals, those who have smoked daily for at least 3 years, are comparing the results of this study with the results of a study of 1024 individuals who have never smoked. So I've taken 1024 individuals who have smoked daily and 1024 individuals who have never smoked. A group of researchers concluded that habitual smoking increases difficulties in concentrating. So I'm basically doing a survey and then trying to arrive at a conclusion. That kind of a thing is inductive reasoning. So basically he's saying that habitual smoking causes increased difficulty in concentrating. But if you look at option E, with that, if you look at the question, which are the following weekends, if you look at option E, a separate research study found that individuals with pre-existing attention and concentration disorders exhibit significant higher rates of trying cigarettes. So basically it's about, what you see in E is that it's about cause and effect. What is the argument saying is that the cause of smoking causes difficulties in concentrating. So smoking is a cause and difficulties in concentration is an effect. What he is saying is ulta. Difficulty in concentration is a cause and therefore they smoke. So that E kind of an argument is basically known as what is a causal argument. So you have a cause and effect. Something is causing something else. So that's a cause effect argument, right? That I have given a simple example here. Since machines are thought to be masculine, it is more socially acceptable for a male to choose to attempt suicide with a gun. So because it is masculine, they want to die using a gun. A suicide attempt by gun is more likely to be fatal than a suicide attempt by pill overdose because its effect occur more quickly, often even suddenly, and there is less room to and time for the person to change his or her mind. It is not surprising, therefore, that women who most frequently overdose on pills have a higher suicide attempt survival rate than do men. So basically the effect is that survival rate of women is more. The cause of that is women uses pills and men uses guns, that kind of a thing. So you have a cause and then you have an effect. That is causal argument. Then you have argument for analogy, where I am comparing two things and then making an argument. Okay. Here it says, we would think it wrong for creatures from outer space, vastly more intelligent than humans, to cause pain to humans and eat them for snacks. Basically, I would think it is wrong that some alien is coming and eating me and causes me pain. Therefore, he is saying, so analogously, it is wrong for us humans to cause pain to non-human animals and eat them simply because we are more intelligent than them. So basically he's making a comparison here. So you can break it down. The analogy made here is human harming and eating animals is like super intelligent space aliens harming and eating humans, because the similarity is those are both these are both cases where one type of being justifies harming and eating another type of being on the basis of superiority. So it's like a comparison. So for example, if I say something like this, human brain is like a computer. Human computer has a designer, therefore human brain has a designer. That is an argument by analogy. In fact, it is a flawed argument, this particular argument, but where I'm comparing two things and then making an argument. Okay. And last is argument from authority. It's like somebody's authority in something. Let's say Jijo Srinivasan is an authority in XAT. Okay, so the argument goes, Jijo says XAT 2013 will have 85 questions. Therefore, XAT 2013 will have 85 questions. That kind of a thing, right? So here in this case, premise 1, according to medical science, there is no life after death. Premise 2, medical science is well established. Conclusion, there is no life after death. So here, it is from the authority of medical science that you are concluding. So those are the four kinds of arguments. This is more than enough. Let's, which one is this? So there's an argument and you are asked to find out which one of the 5 is it inductive generalization, predictive argument? Okay. I'm already getting answers. Yeah, Shreya, you're right. Ajay, Santosh. Kushal, you got it wrong, Kushal. Read once again. Those of you marking D, just read once again. Look at this. All the parliamentarians whom the reporter interviewed. So it is a part of the set. Told that they had voted as per the conscience. Therefore, probably all. So it is very clearly, it is inductive generalization. It's like saying 70% of the people who voted, who surveyed, said they will vote for XYZ party. Therefore, XYZ party will win. A predictive argument is, from the past I am predicting something. For example, whenever Jitu has a class on Sunday, he always comes late. Okay, so let's say that is the therefore the next Sunday Jitu has a class, he will come late. So I'm basically doing a prediction based on the past. Inductive generalization. Garima, why not be predict? It's not prediction, no? It is not about prediction. It says all parliamentarians whom interviewed told they had voted for the conscience. So some people they interviewed said they will voted for conscience. From there, she is making a complete conclusion. It has to be probably all, no? Yeah. Ritika, it has to be probably all, no? Why not see? Generalization based on authority. It is very, very clearly inductive generalization. This one sec. This one. Look at the structure. All or most observed X's are F. Therefore, most X's are F. It is not prediction. Prediction is about what has happened in the past and predicting the future. This is about, I am doing, one sec. Don't get confused, guys. It is very clear. Okay, it is not a prediction at all. What am I predicting? I am interviewing a part of it is not a predictive argument. I am interviewing a part of the people and then I am saying that must be true for everyone. That is not a prediction. Prediction is like this. Who said? Priyadarshini. Priyadarshini, let's say that you wear pink dress every Monday. So I'm predicting that so far. Okay, so I'm predicting that next Monday also you're going to wear the pink dress. That kind of a thing. Specific to generalist, inductive. So also note that the generalization based on authority is also inductive. Nikita, problem, it has to be unsure. An inductive argument can only be probably true or probably false. So it's okay. Okay, let me say this once again. What am I doing is that my premise is true for part of the universe. Okay, it's like saying, okay, let me give you an example. Let's say I have taken in the last 10 years, let's say about 50 classes of XAT. And wherever I've taken the class, I found that none of them is married. Okay, so I basically have a piece of information about the 50 class. Then I'm thinking, I'm making a conclusion for the entire set of people who are taking the XAT. Therefore, then I'm saying that therefore all people who take the XAT must not be married. Right. So what am I doing is that I'm taking a specific instances and trying to make a general conclusion. What will happen? That cannot be definitely true. It has to be. It's like saying this. For example, let me give another inductive reasoning. So far, till date, the sun has risen in the east. Therefore, tomorrow the sun will rise in the east. Please understand, I think you guys are getting confused. One sec. I understood what confusion I'm having. All four of these are inductive reasoning. A deductive reasoning is where my premise is like all or no. I'm saying no students in my class smoke. Therefore, if you are a student of the class, I can conclude that you don't smoke. It's inductive, deductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning is that okay? Oh, this one. Next question. Now this I'm sure. Thank you so much, guys. Actually, it was very straightforward. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. Soumya Gupta, I got it wrong, Soumya. Nagesh got it wrong. So, just check. Nagesh got it wrong again. It's an analogy. It is an argument analogy. I'm making an analogy. As man cast off worn out garments, puts on others anew. Similarly, so very clearly, there is a comparison between two things. Similarly, the embodied soul casting off worn out bodies enters into others which are new. So it is. Garima says predictive argument. Predictive is, it's like I'm let's say I'm taking something from the past and predicting the future. Yeah. Predictive argument is just a term. Okay. Causal argument, Rahul, is cause and effect. Smoking causes cancer. Therefore, if you smoke, that kind of thing. Something causes something. So one is the cause, other is the effect. In fact, there is a question on causal argument here itself. Okay, now one second. Before you read, it says which of the following is analogous to the argument in terms of its logical features. Okay. So basically, I need to understand the argument and check out what the logical feature is, and then answer. Yes, Nikita. Nikita, yes, professing base of past. Okay. So basically, I need to understand the structure of the argument first. Most of you are getting it right. If you have done it for the first time, it is great. Yeah, so basically the argument says when income tax rates are reduced, so income tax rates are reduced, there is an increase in taxable income. So income tax rate causes something to happen. An increase in taxable income results in something else. So one causes something else, an effect, and that further causes something else. So one cause to now something else, and from there to something else. Which option? So income tax reduced. So one causes in reduction of income tax is causing something to happen in taxable income. That cause something happen in revenues. That is exactly what C is. 25 words. If you use more than 25 words, it will not be read, and if it is not read, the product is not sold. So C is the answer. Okay, that's the same structure. Cause to effect, then to another effect. Even in this case, C. Cause to effect, another effect. Okay. I've taken 3 questions of bouncers. We'll come back to this. I want to basically do a small test with you guys. Okay, I'm basically having 5 question tests. These are basically picked from CR, critical reasoning of GMAT. So what I'm going to do is I will show one question, and I will give you 2 minutes. At the end of 2 minutes, I will move to the next question. Is that okay? So you keep marking somewhere, and then we'll check it towards the end. Is that fine? Guys, you ready? Okay? All of you? So one question. I'm going to give you, I want you to get almost as close to 4 to 5 right. Okay? Here goes question number 1. I can keep the answers with you. You don't have to, or you can post it privately to me. Okay. So can I move to question 2? I will, once the 5 questions are done, then I'll discuss all the 5 questions. I'm moving to question 2 now. Okay? Question 2. Another 15 seconds, then I'm moving to next question. I'm moving to, okay. I'm moving to next question. Question 3. 2 minutes for this question. I'm moving to question 4. Here it goes. Question number 4. I'll move in 20 seconds. Okay. Last question. Yeah, Shobit. Deep open, right. Sagar, you're right. Pranchal got it wrong. Michael, you got it wrong, Michael. Okay, 20 more seconds. Okay. Ankita. Okay. Obviously, I have pushed you a little harder. I was moving a little fast. Ideally, we get a little more time in that with each of these questions. Okay. So now I'm Shobit Sood had a question, or XAT question this level. If you look at XAT 2012, they were more of this level, but XAT 2000, earlier XAT was slightly difficult than this. Okay, I'm going question 1, and that's the answer. E. I think most of the marks C and missed E. Most of the marks C I noticed and missed E. Okay, I'll explain this. Okay, it says the Committee of Sexual Discrimination in the Workplace has highlighted Supremo Company as a chief offender. So Supremo Company is a chief offender of sexual discrimination. Of the 20 senior executives in the firm, only 1 is a woman, and of the 40 junior executives, only 5 are female. So basically, the number of female is less than number of male. So they're charging him of sexual discrimination. So that is kind of an argument. Okay. Now it says that Supremo could best defend itself against the charges by showing what? The only defense is that I have chosen the male and the selection process was based on merit. That is the defense. Okay. So even if I look at C, 10 times more. So the better thing is that if you look at E, what E says is all job applicants who were rejected had fewer qualification than those who were accepted. So all the people that have rejected had less qualification than people have selected. Therefore, my selection process was based on merit. So I actually did not do any discrimination based on sex. I only did selection based on the qualification of the candidate. Therefore, E is best. Okay. If I look at A, male and female I'll go one by one, Akriti. Okay. I'll answer every question, every option. Let me go one by one. Option A, male and female executive at the same level have the same qualifications. Now, all it says is that the people now of the same level have got same qualification, but that still does not tell me whether I had discriminated among some women. See, the issue that is here, the ratio of men and women are less. Okay, the ratio of men and women are less. A is not telling me, A is not a good defense. Okay. B says they pay the same salary to senior men and women. The issue is the ratio of men and women are small. Therefore, they believe it's discrimination. A and B is not giving that sense. This is a little difficult one. This is challenging. Right? A is for the second one. One second. Somebody asking why not B? Here, okay, this question, sorry. See, assumption, sorry. He's saying Josh has 20 years of typing experience. Therefore, if you're looking for an efficient typist, so basically clearly what he's saying or assuming is that 20 years of experience is enough to become an efficient typist. So let's check the negation test. If A is wrong, that 20 years of practice ensures typing efficiency is wrong, then I cannot make that statement that after 20 years you'll become an efficient typist. So therefore, A is a better bet than B. I'm not saying B is right or wrong. I'm saying A is the best assumption here. The typing of see, Vishal, you do the negation test, which attacks the most, which destroys the argument. The type of typing required for the new system is identical to what Josh has been doing, even if it negates that, even if that is wrong, and somebody who has been 20 years of experience may be able to adapt to that system. It does not destroy it, right? But what A does, what A does, yes, B is an assumption, definitely. But what A does, A is the key assumption here. He is saying efficiency, because if A is wrong, the argument falls flat. So whenever you have an assumption and we get confused, why not C? Josh's job profile is the best that the new employer is going to get. No, but with A, D, Josh is the any fact and accurate type is irrelevant. There is no fast and accuracy. I've already explained the B, Sudhir. A is better because if A is wrong, if I do the negation test with A, then Raghav, look at A. No, you guys are missing the point. It's assumptions. It is assumption. Assumption is what that links your premise to the conclusion. Therefore, if you are looking for an efficient typist, and his premise is Josh has 20 years of typing experience behind him, therefore, ESA. So what is connecting? He's talking about efficient typist. So the real connection is that 20 years experience is enough for efficiency. Yeah. Right. You have to choose the best one. Okay. Question 3. The question is, there is a paradox. The paradox says that even if there are so many supermarkets, there are still these corner shops selling food items. How is that possible? So it says, which of the following, if true, so below the following will least explain the paradox. So what A is doing, corner shops are selling specialist food items. So that explains the paradox. As A says, corner shops sell specialist food item, supermarket sells something else. Therefore, it explains the paradox. So I need to check which least explain the paradox. B, supermarkets are mostly located on the outskirts of the city and require residents to use car. So the distance is huge. Probably that explains the paradox. People still go to corner shop. C, the main business of local shop is newspaper distribution. The main business is something else. Food items are kept there, but the main business is there. They sell food items, but the main business is something else. That is why it is open. It explains the paradox. D, the corner shops are mainly family-owned business and have been there for much longer than the supermarket and are perceived as an important feature of the community. That explains the paradox. They feel it's a part of the company. It should be there. It does not explain the paradox. Corner shops are willing to make home delivery. Does not explain the paradox. Does not, yeah, but doesn't. Michael, how is it resolving? What is the paradox that is resolving? He does not resolve. He says that corner shops are willing to make home deliveries. Okay, so what? D is very clearly saying they are perceived as an important feature of the community. The community wants us to be there. So there are many corner shops because it is an important feature of the community. So A, B, C, D is resolving paradox. I don't even know. Are willing to make home delivery. Why not C? C says the main business of local shop is something else. So the reason why there are so many corner shops is main business is something else. So it resolves the paradox. Yeah? Okay. I'm quickly going 4. I think this most of you got right. Man, which of the following most weakened? It says marriage counselor noted okay, one second. Let me settle this last once and for all. Okay. The corner shops are willing to make home delivery. If they are willing to make home delivery, there are many corner shops. That seems the most, out of the 5, if you clearly notice, I can easily connect A to this, B to this, C to this, D to this, and E is little far-fetched collection. Yeah, you have to choose the best option, na, Kushal? Anyways, let's go here. It says the marriage counselor noted that couples who have occasional violent arguments are less likely to divorce within the next 6 months. So those who have violent argument are less likely to divorce within the next 6 months. Okay. He concluded that frequent arguing is a major factor in the causation of severe marital disharmony. So he is saying the cause is frequent arguing, the effect is severe marital disharmony. Which of the following weakens? A weakens, couple who have already come to the point of divorce argue continuously. Say, saying it is ulta. What? Listen, one second, guys, listen to this. Okay. What the marriage counseling is saying that when it comes to so within 6 months of divorce, people have violent argument. So he's saying the violent argument that is causing this kind of divorce. So what option says the opposite? It is ulta. That's what it says. Couples who have already come to the point of divorce argue violently. Therefore, A says the cause and effect is different. So the argument says, okay, I'll come to everything. Argument says, okay, why not D? Recent divorced people are rarely cite frequent argument as a cause of marital. Recent divorced people rarely cite frequent arguments as a cause of marital disharmony. Okay, fine. So it which is weakened, no? So that is not weakening it. Which is weakening it. Rarely cite, frequent argument. Oh, sorry. He concluded that frequent argument is a major cause. Recently divorced people rarely cite frequent argument as a cause of marital disharmony. Yes, okay, this is fine. But what you have to do is essentially between A and D, A is better for a couple of reasons. One, it attacks a core of what the argument is being made. The argument is made on causation. Somewhere it is written, cause and effect. That is the core argument. He is saying frequent arguing causes marital disharmony. This directly contradicts it, therefore weakens it. So, D is fine, it still weakens, but what he says is recently divorced people rarely cite. So it's okay. So it says that the divorced people rarely cite that frequent argument of this. How is that strengthening, Rahul? Shit. One sec. Why not E? A significant fraction of couple close to divorce they don't even talk. It's a significant fraction of couple close to divorce. But argument is not whether they fight. Argument is the fighting causes divorce. The argument is not that they fight. Argument is not that they have divorce. Argument is fighting causes divorce. That is the argument. No lazy reading. The argument is fighting causes divorce. A says divorce causes fighting. The cause and effect is wrong. So A weakens. It's like this. Right? How is it strengthening, Rahul, again? If I say smoking causes cancer, you say cancer causes smoking. Are they same? You have to get your cause and effect right, no? It's a causal argument. You have to begin an argument, guys. Fifth one. I don't know, you guys, Dada, the argument is cause and effect argument, yaar. Okay. The last one, this I think most of you got right. So it's basically saying that people are unnecessary about saving thoughts, as people These animals perceived as unpleasant creatures, and people seldom feel passionate about animals with which they have no positive feelings. Right? So B says that so when there is no positive, so he says people seldom feel the for feeling passionate about animals, they need positive feelings. That is an argument. So what B says, which of the following strengthens? Kumar, fantastic. 4 on 5, great. B says the recent campaign Say Bat achieved a measure of success only after a cartoon bat was adopted as a mascot of local team. So they have to change the feelings so that they have become passionate. Right? Oh. 3 on 5. Where are we, guys? I need to put your score, please. Don't feel bad. Don't worry, Surya. It's okay. I didn't give you much time to think. 5 on 5, 3 on 5, 1 on 5. It's okay, guys. Okay. So you see, let me say this. I can very well say the reason why you're not going to the argument carefully. What I want is please put me a mail. Okay, I'll mail you this presentation. Please go through this once again. Think over it. Previously, I don't think question 4 is right. Let me go to question 4 once again. Okay, one last time. Okay, one last time. Question 4. The argument is this. A marriage counselor noted that people who have, let me use this. A marriage counselor noted that people who have occasional violent arguments are less likely to, what is his conclusion? Frequent, one second. Okay, his conclusion is causes marital disharmony. Frequent argument causes marital disharmony. That is the argument. What is saying? Couples who have already come to the point of divorce argue constantly over small matters. He says that is weakening his argument. He's saying that when you're getting closer to the divorce, frequent argument happens. So I cannot make this causation. What it is weakening this causation of this argument. It's very important to understand. It's very important to understand causation. What causes what? So guys, one second. I cannot. I have to be very, very sure as to what causes what. Okay. For example, let me make a causation argument. Okay. It's like this. Let me make an argument which says of someone getting molested is when they wear provocative dress, more provocative dress. Therefore, provocative dress causes molestation, and that is a wrong causation that I'm doing. What I'm saying is causation is a very, very crucial argument, and something that negates causation weakens the argument, right? Anyways, again, never be lazy, never read the. Okay. What I can do is, what I would suggest is one, practice CR questions. And some of you want some CR question, put in a mail to me. I cannot note your mail, so just write a mail to me. Okay, I'll leave the email. I'll send across some of the difficult CR questions. It's a question of practice, okay? What I'm saying, start slow, going through all the process diligently. Once you gain confidence, you can build your speed. And every time you, okay? I can tell you that if you're diligent and if you answer this carefully, you have guaranteed results in 3 days. And that's my email address. You can note it down. Do you want me to do those bounces? I have got. It's already 2 hours 26 minutes. There's 3 questions. Yeah, should I do that? It's 1 second. Let me go back. No. Nikita says enough. So those of you who want to stay back, uh, I'll do this 3 bounces. Those of you don't feel like listening to this one, let's quickly go through. I'll just pin to just 2 minutes. Okay, I'll quickly go through this. I'll just do this one. Okay. Our old argument, which is this: being is soul, becoming is visible world of matter. Being always is minus infinity plus infinity. Becoming no separate existence. Being unmoved, undisturbed. Becoming is motion and disturbance. Reality, unreality. Okay. So it says which of the following statements could be considered as logically consistent with the. I'll put your. Let me put my contact details here first. Okay. Okay. So here it says, if I look at one, a flight traveling on a flying arrow perceives it to be a dress. Therefore, flying arrow belongs to the realm of being. But the issue here is the realm of being is something that is unmoved and unchanged. Right. So one cannot be there. Two is the activities of day-to-day life are concerned with unreal part of human existence and hence would not be subjected to moral standards. If you notice, nothing about moral standard is mentioned here. So basically, one cannot be there, two cannot be there. I think that is enough to answer this question. Yeah, see. So it's like this. If you are, when you Sherlock Holmes says, when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however impossible. Ayush says, if you don't understand the passage, like the current one should be tried. If you don't, is that okay, guys? I think this is enough for the day. Okay. Let me put the last. So if you still have any issues, I think a lot of you have got certain questions. Mail it to me. Those who want this presentation, please mail to me. Jiju@careerlauncher.com. Those who want some more critical reasoning questions, just mail it to me. Jiju@careerlauncher.com. I'll reply to that. Yeah. Thank you guys, and hope this was beneficial to you guys. And may you do well in the XAT. Thank you guys. Yeah. Thank you, Shreya. Thank you, Gautam. Thank you, Henna. Thank you, Shreya. Thank you all. Let me see, Rishi. Thank you guys. Okay. So I'll see you all. Chalo. Goodbye. I'm signing off. Yeah. Bye.